The shocking truth: how a cleaning lady brought the silent twins back to life at midnight. The clock struck 12, deep in the heart of a town that grumbled with secrets. The moon hung low, casting eerie shadows that danced across the cobblestones. It was a night like no other, charged with an electric thrill. And there, in the dim glow of the street lamp, a cleaning lady named Clara stood clutching her mop, her eyes wide with disbelief. She'd heard the whispers. Everyone had. The silent twins' local legends, wrapped in mystery, said to have been trapped in an ancient curse, were back in town. The rumor was that they spoke to no one, communicating only with each other in the dead of night. Clara had scoffed at tales of the looming clock tower behind the abandoned theater, the chilling stories of voices floating through the rafters. But there she was, heart racing, breath caught. With each passing moment, the air thickened, as if reality itself held its breath. Clara approached the theater's entrance, where cobwebs clung like forgotten memories. She pushed the door open. It creaked, a sound that clawed at her insides. The darkness swallowed her whole. A shiver ran down her spine as a gust of wind howled through the empty aisles, only it wasn't wind. It was a voice. The kind that sent chills skating down her arms. "It's time. It's time," it whispered, the words curling like smoke around her. Clara peered into the shadows and saw two figures at the back, standing still, their heads barely moving, but their presence massive. The silent twins. Pulses thrummed in the silence, and Clara felt every heartbeat echoing inside her. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect." Clara could hardly breathe. Should she run? Or step closer? The story of the twins had always ended in tragedy, failure, sadness, whispers of magic lost. Yet, what if tonight was the night they broke free? Clara felt a stirring hope amidst the dread. But then a flicker of doubt washed over her. Were they spirits? Or had they been waiting, lurking, simply for someone to notice? As she squinted through the gloom, shadows shifted. A tension hung thick in the air, begging to snap. Then one of the twins turned, and their eyes glowed like embers in the dark. They beckoned Clara with a finger, the gesture somehow both inviting and terrifying. And in that moment, all the legends, all the stories washed away. It was just her, the twins, and the haunting unknown of what lay ahead. What would they say? What untold truth would spill from their lips? Clara's mind raced as she stepped forward. In the battle between courage and fear, one thing was certain: the night wasn't over, and the mysteries of the silent twins had just begun to unfold. Clara hesitated, the seconds stretching into eternity as she stood before the twins. Fear rippled through her like electricity, yet a pull deeper than dread urged her forward. The corners of her mind whispered harsh truths she would regret this moment, or it would shatter everything she thought she knew. "Come," the other twin spoke, the voice thick with shadows, echoing like a long-forgotten melody. It pierced through her hesitation, neat and deadly. Clara took a cautious step, drawn by an inexplicable magnetism. Each footfall echoed in the hollow space, a reminder that she was stepping into a story far beyond her own. They flickered like candle flames, real yet unreal, and as she approached, the room seemed to pulse with energy. The air changed, pregnant with secrets, beckoning Clara to unravel them. "You're here to set us free," one twin murmured, their voice a seductive promise dancing on the edges of light and dark. "Free? From what?" Clara managed, her voice a trembling whisper. She was not sure she wanted the answer. "From the curse," the second twin replied, their eyes smoldering like coal. "But to do that, you must hear our truth." With a movement as smooth as silk, they stepped forward, fading and reappearing closer than before, swirling like mist around her. Panic shot through Clara, but it morphed into a strange thrill. She wanted to know. What truth? She pressed, her heart drumming against her chest, a wild creature wishing to escape. The truth of what happened all those years ago, one twin said, a flicker of sorrow flashing across their features. Long ago, we made a choice, and that choice trapped us here, lost in this timeless purgatory. The darkness of the theater deepened, engulfing Clara as images filled her mind, shadowy silhouettes darting through a forest, wild laughter morphing into cries, a flash of betrayal sharp enough to cut through the veil of night. It was a childhood memory, once vivid and now distorted, beckoning her like a siren-esque call. In the swirling chaos of sensations, panic washed over her again. Were these memories real? Or just fragments of whispered stories tangled in the fabric of the twins' torment? Trust us, they urged, an intense plea. We need you to speak the words that will break the curse. Clara felt heat rising in her chest, determination igniting like a flame. What words? She breathed. It's a chant, a summons to release us, the first twin said, urgency dripping from their voice. But every word must be true, you must believe. You alone hold the key. The air buzzed with an unsettling energy, a storm gathering in the hush. Clara's gut twisted. She had stumbled into something monumental, a reality where her choices could change everything. All right, Clara found her voice, steadying her wild heart. Show me what to do. As they shifted closer, their whispers softened, weaving spells that sang around her. She felt herself crossing into their world, the boundary between their past and her present dissolving. Suddenly, a soft thud echoed in the distance, loud enough to capture her attention. Clara froze. The door behind her cracked open slightly. Someone was outside. The shadows shifted, and she felt the twins grow tense, an electric anticipation crackling between them. Someone is coming, the second twin muttered, their eyes flickering between fear and excitement. The moment of truth was looming, but would Clara be brave enough to face it? She held her breath, uncertainty hanging thick in the air. Who is coming? And would they help or threaten everything she was unraveling? The thunderous pulse of a heartbeat surged within her, time waning, the next moment hovering like a suspended dream. Clara steeled herself, knowing she had embarked on a path lined with shadows, but aware that the truth could shatter the curse or plunge them deeper into darkness. What lay beyond that door? Would it be salvation or destruction? Clara's instincts screamed at her to turn and run. The door creaked open further, a sinister invitation from the darkness just beyond. She remained rooted in place, her heart slamming against the walls of her chest. The twins exchanged glances, their expressions morphing into a blend of anxiety and urgency. We don't have much time, one whispered. You need to invoke the chant before they find us. Every second felt like an eternity, and each tick of the clock echoed in her ears. Clara's breath hitched as she tried to make sense of the panic that clawed at her throat. Who is coming? She finally managed to ask, her voice barely above a whisper. The keeper, the second twin said, their eyes narrowing. If he finds you with us, he'll seal our fate forever and yours. Clara swallowed hard, realizing that this keeper was no ordinary presence. The weight of uncertainty pressed down on her, thick and suffocating, but the twins' desperate gazes sparked something inside her. Even in a maelstrom of terror, she felt a flicker of determination. I can help you, she said, though the tremor in her voice betrayed her confidence. Then summon the words, they urged in unison, stepping closer, their hands reaching out, barely grazing her. Clara squeezed her eyes shut, trying to fend off the chaotic noise pulsing around her. Bits and pieces filtered back in from the muffled echoes of the past. The chant was there, dancing just beyond the veil of her consciousness, taunting her like a half-remembered dream. Just as she grasped the thread of it, a cold chill swept into the room. The air thickened, tangible dread curling like smoke in her lungs. The door creaked wider. The keeper stood in the threshold, a silhouette against the flickering theater lights, eyes like burning coals boring into her soul. Long time no see, twins, he rasped, his voice a gravelly echo that sent shivers rattling down her spine. And what do we have here? A guest? The twins recoiled slightly, their expressions shifting to unease. "Run, Clara!" one screamed, sending a jolt of adrenaline coursing through her veins. But Clara stood frozen, caught between the darkness of the keeper and the light of the twins. I want to help," she stammered, her voice wavering like a candle in the wind. The keeper's grin twisted into something sinister. "Help? No one can help here. This is no place for the living. It's my domain." "No!" Clara shouted, a rush of courage igniting within her. With all her being, she launched into the chant, her voice trembling but growing stronger. From shadows forged, the truth shall rise. The moment the words left her lips, the room vibrated. The twins flared with luminescent energy, their forms solidifying beneath her gaze. The air crackled and twisted, a powerful force radiating outward as the keeper lurched back, his expression shifting from amusement to rage. "No, you can't," he roared, but Clara pressed on, pouring every ounce of belief into the chant. "The curse shall break, our chains unwind." Bright light surged, flooding the room and drowning out the keeper's fury. In that blinding glow, Clara felt a surge of connection with the twins, an intertwining of destinies. Her heart raced with the intoxicating rush of releasing shadows trapped for so long, and yet, just as a sense of triumph began to bloom, a dark shadow flickered in the corners of her vision. The keeper was reeling back, but he remained. "You think this is over?" he spat, his voice slithering like ice through the air. "You'll pay for this." As the brightness enveloped them, Clara felt an abyss open beneath her feet. The world spun, and in an instant, the light swallowed her whole. When she landed, breathless and disoriented, she was nowhere near the theater. Searing pain lanced through her arm, and she glanced down, horror blooming in her chest. Blood pooled on her sleeve, and from the shadows ahead, she heard a soft, mocking laugh. What had she done? Had she truly broken the curse, or merely fed the darkness? And what lay in wait for her now? The answer hovered just out of reach, a looming specter cloaked and shrouded. Whispers. Would Clara uncover the dark truth of the Keeper's wrath, or would she become the next victim in this unraveling tale? Clara's heart raced, each pulse like a drum echoing in the silence that enveloped her. The shadows loomed closer, shifting with a life of their own. She trembled, biting her lip against the sting of fear. The mocking laugh danced around her, chilling her to the bone. "Who are you?" Clara managed to call into the darkness, her voice a quivering thread. The shadows seemed to writhe as if they were considering her words, the laughter fading into a heavy stillness. "I'm someone you've inadvertently invited into your world," a voice replied, smooth as silk but laden with malice. It emerged from the depths of the darkness, a figure stepping into the dwindling light. The Keeper was here again, but this time, his features were sharper, more defined, an unsettling smile etched on his lips. "You've broken the barrier between our fates, Clara. You're in deeper than you think." Clara staggered backward, the pain in her arm pulsing with every movement. She could feel warmth seeping through her clothes, threading into her consciousness with every heartbeat. Panic surged. She had to focus. She thought of the twins, of their urgency and pleas. In that moment, she stumbled upon a terrifying realization. If she hadn't succeeded in breaking the curse, she had only drawn more darkness upon herself and the twins. "They aren't safe, are they?" Her voice cracked, racing towards the edge of desperation. "What have I done?" The Keeper laughed again, low and mocking. "Oh, they're quite safe. But you, Clara?" He stepped closer, the edges of shadow swirling like smoke around his figure. "You are now tied to them, a beacon for the dark whispers that seek to reclaim their souls." Thunder rumbled outside, a storm brewing, echoing the chaos within her. Clara felt the weight of the Keeper's words sink into her bones. A chill ran down her spine. Her determination wavered, but she couldn't let fear win. Not when the twins' two innocent souls tied to her fate were depending on her. "Let them go. They deserve to be free," she shouted, though the plea felt like a feather in the storm. The Keeper's eyes glinted, amusement writhed in them as he regarded her with hair-raising delight. "Why should I? After all, you broke the sacred seal binding their souls. You think it's that simple? His voice twisted like a serpent. The shadows danced around him, slinking closer as if eager to consume. Tell me how to fix it, she demanded, words spilling from her lips, guided by a sudden rush of bravery. Clara felt her heart thunder wildly, an urgency igniting within her. A twisted smile spread across the keeper's face. Fix it? Oh, my dear, there's always a price to pay. He moved closer still, the shadows thickening, wrapping around her in a cool embrace. To save them, you must confront what lies in your heart and seal a part of your own soul with mine. Clara's breath quickened, realization dawning like a distant storm. You want me to join you, to become part of this nightmare? An alluring offer, isn't it? He stretched out a long finger, beckoning her forward. What is your deepest fear? Isn't it time to embrace it? The air thickened as terror clawed at her coat. She remembered the twins, their hopeful faces and flickering light. She could back down, choosing safety over sacrifice. Or she could plunge into the abyss, risking everything for them. The weight of the choice bore down, a heavy rock anchoring her in the face of unfathomable odds. As she stood there, shadows creeping closer, Clara felt a spark of hope flickering within her. Perhaps not all was lost. Her mind whirled with emotion, the raw realization pooling into a single thought. I would rather fight my fears than live in terror of them, Clara declared, her voice strong, piercing through the swirling dread. I will save them. I will face you. The keeper's laughter exploded around her, echoing through the darkness. Brave girl. You've made your choice and choices have consequences. The shadows twisted violently, and Clara braced herself, the space around her shifting as she felt a new power surge through her. But as the darkness closed in, she realized the truth. This was only the beginning. Could she confront the keeper with the weight of her fears, or had she sealed her own fate? What awaited her in the heart of the storm? Secrets long buried whispered just beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered. The keeper's voice coiled around her, teasing and taunting. Let the game begin. Clara felt her heart pounding as the shadows twisted and swirled around her like a storm, each one whispering secrets of her past. It was as if they had eyes, each flickering tendril reaching out, probing into her memories. The overwhelming terror made it hard to breathe. She could almost hear the twins' laughter in her mind, their joyful faces now a haunting apparition as the realization hit her she was the anchor keeping their fates bound to the keeper. The keeper's smile widened, a grotesque mirror of satisfaction. You think you can confront your fears? Tell me, Clara, what do you fear most? His voice dripped with honeyed malevolence, slipping into her consciousness like a serpent. Memories surged within her, abandonment, loss, the crushing weight of expectations. She had spent so much time being the dependable one, the fixer, yet here she was, each thread of hope unraveling around her. The ambience thickened just as the storm outside reached a crescendo, lightning slicing through the darkness, illuminating the keeper's twisted grin. In that moment, something unlocked inside her. Clara summoned that flicker of hope and faced him. What if I told you my deepest fear is not failure but my own power? What if I'm afraid of what I can truly become? The keeper paused, eyebrows arching in intrigue. Interesting. Most cower, but you wish to wield it? His lips curled into a smirk, and for once, Clara felt a twinge of control amidst the chaotic tempest. Power is a double-edged sword. What would you choose? Control or chaos? He taunted. To save them, you must allow me to be part of your soul. We will grow powerful together, you and I. Clara's resolve wavered, but she took a breath. Her mind raced, allowing the keeper to share her essence could mean her complete downfall. Yet, living in constant fear of herself seemed a prison far worse than death. What was the true cost of her power? The twins' lives, the very essence of her spirit? I refuse to submit to you, Clara shouted, defiance burning in her chest. I'd rather harness my fears than let you consume me. The shadows convulsed violently, shaking the very foundations of her resolve. The storm outside erupted into raw chaos, wind howling like angry spirits. The keeper's face twisted in rage, his eyes flared with a primal fury. You will regret this. You are but a flicker in the night, and I will snuff you out." With every word, his power reverberated through the room, and Clara felt threads of fear creeping back in, clawing at her mind. She closed her eyes, focusing on the memories of the twins. They needed her, and she needed them. It was time to anchor herself, to stand firm against the tide of darkness demanding her surrender. "I want to let you take them," she screamed, and in that moment, something bright flared within her, a light born from awareness and hope. "I'd rather face my fears alone than embrace the darkness you represent." Suddenly, the shadows started to recede, their hold slipping as Clara fought back with everything she had. She felt a surge of strength, as if the very essence of the twins flowed into her, bolstering her spirit. They weren't merely memories, they were a part of her, and she would fight for them. "Foolish girl," the keeper hissed, his voice laced with venom. "You think your resolve can withstand the darkness? You can't escape what you truly are." Clara opened her eyes, fire igniting within their depths. "Maybe not, but I can become something stronger." In that moment, lightning struck so violently it lit up the entire room, illuminating the keeper's face half in shadow, half in light. He recoiled, as if struck by her bravery, and for the first time, doubt flickered across his features. Then, silence fell. The storm outside faded, and a profound stillness engulfed them. Clara, breathing heavily, looked around, taking in the state of the world that surrounded them. She had a chance now, had literally clawed back the light, but what would happen to the keeper? Would he retaliate, or would he falter before her strength? And as the shadows pulled away, revealing a door behind them, Clara felt the weight of fate resting firmly on her shoulders. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. What lay beyond that door masked an uncertainty. Would it lead to the twins' salvation, or plunge her deeper into darkness? Clara stepped forward, heart racing anew, determined to find out. Clara reached for the doorknob, her fingertips grazing the cool metallic surface. The air around her crackled with anticipation, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. What lay behind that door could shatter her world or restore it. The choice was hers, and in that moment, she felt whole, a strange, beautiful clarity coursing through her. Taking a deep breath, she turned the knob and pushed the door open. It creaked ominously, echoing through the silence. Inside, a dimly lit room awaited her, the walls lined with dusty shelves packed with forgotten relics and cobwebs. In the center sat a large mirror. Its surface shimmered, yet the reflection seemed to ripple and shift like water disturbed by a stone. "Welcome, Clara," a voice whispered, softer now, almost inviting. It was the keeper, but his tone felt different. Was it fear? Or curiosity? "What is this place?" she demanded, step by cautious step leading her toward the mirror. Her heart thudded as she caught a glimpse of herself, the shadows of the past still clinging to her edges. "This is the threshold," he replied, his voice silky and smooth. "Here, you can either confront the truth or remain shackled by your illusions." Clara's pulse raced. The truth. The very thing she had been searching for. But what would it cost? "Don't you see?" he continued, as if reading her thoughts. "This mirror shows your essence, your potential. You can embrace it or deny it, but know this. The twins' fate is intertwined with your choice." A shiver ran down Clara's spine. The twins. She could almost hear their laughter again, reverberating against the walls of her memory. They deserved to be free, yet the very concept of freedom felt so heavy, teetering on the edge of destiny. "What if the truth is too much to bear?" she whispered, her voice breaking. "What if I can't handle it? What if I become like you?" A laugh echoed through the room. "You fear the depths of your own power? Or the possibility of losing yourself in it?" The keeper leaned toward her, his shadow lengthening, swallowing the light. "Remember, Clara, darkness exists to amplify light. Only by facing your fears can you ever hope to control them." She stepped closer to the mirror, drawn into the swirling reflections. Fragments of her life flitted across the surface, moments of joy, heartbreak, desperation. She saw the twins, their eyes full of hope, but also their shadows, lurking behind them as they implored her to join them. Choose, Clara, the keeper urged, his voice now a haunting whisper that ricocheted off the walls. Do you wish to be the strong flame that warms, or the one that destroys? In that split second, Clara understood. The power she feared was hers to claim. It wasn't about submission, it was about mastery. The twins needed her to take control, to face the storm within and outside of herself. I choose to confront my truth, she shouted, her voice ringing with newfound conviction. As the words left her lips, the mirror's surface rippled violently, reflecting a bright light that illuminated the entire room. The keeper recoiled, panic crossing his face. No, you don't understand, Clara pressed on, barely hearing him over the surge of energy flowing through her. The light coalesced around her, wrapping her in a cocoon of warmth and strength. She could feel fragments of herself coming together, as if the pieces of her soul were stitching into a whole. Then, in a flash of brilliance, the light exploded. Clara was thrown backward, the world spinning around her. She landed harshly on the floor, the dust swirling around her like the remnants of an old tale. When she blinked up, everything had changed. The room was transformed, the dusty relics gone, replaced by a field of flowers under a bright blue sky. But where were the twins? Panic gripped her heart. Clara! A voice called, sweet and familiar. She shot to her feet, scanning the horizon. Is that you? The air shimmered, and there they were, the twins, ethereal yet real. Clara's heart soared, then plummeted as doubt crept back in. What had she unleashed? Will you join us? They beckoned. Eyes glistening with hope, what did this mean? Had she freed them, or had she unleashed something even more sinister? As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the field, Clara took a step toward them, uncertainty clawing at her. But as she reached out, a chilling realization hit her. What if the keeper was still lurking, ready to pull her back into darkness? And now, as she stood at the threshold of hope and despair, Clara knew that the next choice would define everything. As she took a hesitant step forward, Clara's heart raced. The twins shimmered like mirages in the twilight, their faces painted with longing and vibrant life. Yet dread echoed in her mind. What kind of world had she unleashed? She forced herself to push that fear down, not allowing doubt to creep into her heart. They needed her, now more than ever. Clara, come. They called again, their voices woven with haunting urgency. She felt like they were pulling her toward something unimaginable, something beyond her understanding. Yet, Clara hesitated. What if we changed? She called out, her voice trembling. What if we can't go back? Join us. They implored, their eyes twinkling with an otherworldly light. We are free, and so can you be. Step into the warmth of the sun. With the fading day painting hues of orange and purple in the sky, hope danced in the air like the soft petals around her feet. Clara could almost hear the pulsations of the earth beneath her, throbbing with promises of joy. But shadows tangled at her feet. What if the keeper comes after us? Clara shouted, her voice breaking through the magical haze, a stark reminder of what they had left behind. He won't stop until he has control over us again. The twins exchanged a glance, and for a moment, that lock shared between them felt heavy with truth. He can't, one twin said fiercely, as if willing the darkness away. Not if we stand together. We are stronger now, tethered by truth and light. You have awakened us. Clara felt a spark deep within, as if a fire ignited at the very core of her being. Stronger, she repeated, the word pooling in her mind like honey. They reached out, beckoning her closer. Clara's feet moved of their own accord, closing the space between them as she reached out to grasp their hands. A surge of warmth radiated up her arms, igniting her spirit with a flickering flame. Suddenly, a deafening crash echoed from behind her, shattering the moment. The ground beneath them trembled as if an earthquake had split the world apart. Clara! A bellowing voice roared out of the darkness, behind her the keeper. You dare defy me? A chill wrapped around her spine, a tremor of terror taking hold. The twins' faces washed with fear, a stark contrast to moments ago. Clara could feel the wind whip around her, bringing with it the icy breath of her past creeping back. What do we do? She whispered, panic clawing at her throat. "We fight," they answered in unison. Their hands tightened around hers, a lifeline against the storm gathering behind. "Fight?" she echoed, feeling the weight of uncertainty. Would they truly have the power to stand against the Keeper? "Yes," the twins affirmed, their eyes blazing with determination. "Your truth has already shattered his hold. He fears what he does not understand our bond." In that moment, Clara realized she was more than an unwilling pawn to be manipulated. She was the key of light in a darkened world. As the Keeper stepped into view, his silhouette looming and jagged, Clara's heart raced fiercely. She could see the darkness swirl around him, pulsating like a living entity, curling into the form of tendrils, reaching for her, hungering for the whispers of doubt. "See what you have become?" he hissed, his voice oozing with malice. "You will regret this betrayal, Clara." A wave of strength surged through her, igniting something deep inside. "No more," she shouted, feeling the twins' energy intertwine with her own. "We are not afraid of you." With those words, Clara summoned every scrap of warmth she could feel, channeling the love, the pain, and the hope she had for the twins. The ground shuddered as light erupted from her core, radiating like a brilliant sun, illuminating even the darkest crevices of the world around them. The shadows recoiled, twisting and shrieking as the power of unity pushed them back. Clara could feel the weight of fear lift as she stood strong, the connection with the twins grounding her in ways she hadn't imagined possible. "Together," Clara cried, "we can break him." But as the Keeper arrived in the light, something unexpected happened, a reflection, a moment that paralyzed the air with glimmering dread. From the depths of the Keeper's shadow, a new figure emerged, shrouded in darkness, but furiously wielding a flickering blade of uncertainty. A familiar laugh echoed, and with a sinking feeling, Clara recognized it. Could this be another twin, someone she had never known? Panic surged. The battle for control was about to get even more complicated. "Who are you?" Clara demanded, as their eyes locked in a silent challenge. "Someone you didn't know you needed," yet the voice whispered, dripping with sinister allure. Was the enemy growing stronger? Or had she simply unleashed another layer of her truth? Clara could feel the impending storm, knowing that every second was a race against time. What would happen when the shadows finally converged? Clara's heart raced as the dark figures stepped closer, wrapped in shadows, yet somehow familiar. The twins were beside her, their expressions a mix of strength and fear. "Who is that?" Clara asked, her voice barely above a whisper, as if speaking too loudly would summon some darker fate. "That's not possible," one of the twins muttered, a tremor in her voice. "We were whole before." The new figure's laugh slithered through the air, unsettling and sharp. "Whole? Oh, dear sweet Clara," the voice dripped with false sweetness, sending shivers down her spine. "You can't just leave the past behind. Not when it holds such delicious, dark secrets." Clara's mind raced. What secrets? What truths had been buried so deep that they now clawed their way back to the surface? The Keeper's shadow twisted and writhed, seeming to celebrate this development. He appeared more alive, more powerful now that the new figure had emerged. Clara could sense the struggle brewing. The fight would be harder than she thought. "Stay back," Clara commanded, feeling the heat within her stir once more. But the figure stepped forward, piercing the tense air with an enchanting gaze. "Why resist knowledge when you can embrace it?" The figure leaned in, voice softened, almost inviting. "You've always wanted to understand. To know why the Keeper chased us. Why we fell apart in the first place." The twins flinched, and a mere flicker of doubt crossed Clara's mind. They were stronger together, but now this entity threatened to unravel everything. "No," she shouted. "We want to let you in." The darkness around them pulsated, as though the Keeper fed off their mounting tension. "Look at you, Clara. You think you can fight what you don't understand? What I've given life to." The voice echoed around her, now amplifying the doubts clawing at the edges of her mind. "What did you give us?" One twin shouted defiantly, their breath shallow as they linked their fingers tighter around Clara's. Was it freedom or another prison? With each word spoken, the figure's form flickered, revealing glimmers of a girl lost in despair. "I am both your truth and your shadow," she hissed, grinning darkly. "You cannot escape me. You cannot escape yourself." The keeper lurched forward, his tendrils snapping in anger. "Enough games. You've played long enough, Clara. Give in, or I will take everything from you again." Clara could feel the weight of despair pulling her. The twins squeezed her hands tighter, their eyes sparkled with defiance, and she realized they were tethering her to hope, even in this abyss. "Together," Clara cried, summoning every ounce of strength left within her. "I refuse to be defined by the shadows anymore." An explosion of light erupted from them, illuminating the darkness, staggering the figures before her, but just as the shadows recoiled again, the figure smirked, a knowing look piercing through the veil of light. "You think you are the light?" She shot back, her voice laced with mockery. "What if I told you your greatest strength could become your greatest weakness?" Clara felt her breath catch. What did that mean? Was there a betrayal lurking beneath the surface? A sudden chill swept through the air. The light flickered and faltered. "Step into the shadows if you want the truth, Clara," the figure coaxed, the allure dangerous yet enticing. "You think you're fighting for the twins, but you've barely scratched the surface of what binds you. Join me, and we can unravel a power greater than you can imagine." Fear and temptation coiled together in Clara's chest as she stared into the abyss. What if the shadows were more than just darkness? What if they held the key to an unspeakable force, one that could change everything? "Clara!" The twins cried, their voices piercing through her trance. "Don't listen to her." But as Clara gripped their hands, a strange warmth began to seep through her veins. What would she lose if she embraced the shadows? A part of her whispered that maybe, just maybe, this was the only way to break free. The tension snapped, and she felt herself teetering on the precipice of choice. What would she uncover if she took that step? Clara's destiny hung in the balance, and shadows danced tantalizingly close, waiting for her to decide. What would happen if she succumbed to the allure of the truth? Clara's heart thundered in her chest as the laughter of the dark figure formed a chilling cadence. Her pulse quickened with every beat, and doubt gnawed at her thoughts. The twins were still gripping her hands, grounding her in the present moment, yet the pull of the shadows felt intoxicating. The shadows seemed to reach for her, whispering promises of untold power and truths that slid just out of reach like smoke. "Do you really want to know what lies beneath the surface?" The figure taunted, her voice silky as it wove around them. "What shattered your bond? What turned you into mere echoes of your former selves?" "Enough!" shouted the twin with fiery determination, her eyes sparking with outrage. "You think you can manipulate us? We know who we are." But Clara felt the tug in her soul growing stronger. The figure stepped closer, her presence enveloping the space between them, and Clara couldn't shake the sense of familiarity that draped over the figure's dark aura. But that's exactly it. You don't know yet. Not really. And deep down, you want a Clara." The second twin clung to her fiercely, desperation etched on her face. "You must fight it. We are more than our pain. We have come this far together." Tension crackled in the air, and Clara felt their hands trembling slightly. The darkness pulsed, hungry for her hesitation. Was this what the keeper had planned? Would surrendering to the shadows give them more strength, or lead them deeper into despair? "Every mistake, every regret," the figure hissed sweetly, "is a thread weaving the tapestry of your life. If you don't acknowledge your past, how can you ever hope to reclaim your power?" Clara's breath caught, and she felt herself being torn apart. Her mind raced with images of memories lost, laughter, fleeting joy, moments that turned to dust, all lining the chasm between them and the darkness. "Join me, and I'll help you see everything that's been hidden," the shadow figure offered, her eyes gleaming with a wicked light. "Together, we can unleash a force that will not just shape your destinies, but bend reality itself, expose the truth behind the keeper's treachery." What truth? Clara found herself whispering, spellbound by the promise, even as the twins urged her to fight back. What if you're right? A rush of warmth surged through Clara's veins, blurring the line between dread and desire. The twins trembled beside her, their faces etched with concern. They were terrified, pleading with her to resist, their loyalty laying a foundation beneath her wavering resolve. Choosing the shadows doesn't mean you abandon them, the figure continued, her voice now a silk thread in the chaos. It means embracing who you are, both light and dark, to take control of your fate. Imagine what you could accomplish. Clara's heart thundered louder as the thick darkness groaned, vibrating with power at her uncertainty. She could feel the Keeper's rage lurking beyond, waiting for a crack in her defenses. "Clara!" the twins cried, their voices woven like a lifeline in the encroaching darkness. They leaned closer, filling her with warmth and strength. "Remember, your greatest strength lies in unity." One twin's words echoed fiercely, cutting through the shadows like a beacon. "We are not weak, we fight together." With every pull of the shadows, Clara felt the bond with the twins solidifying, urging her forward. The dark figure sneered, watching with bated breath, and the Keeper's whispers turned frantic, desperate to claim her. Clara took a shaky breath, grounding herself in that moment. This was the choice, the moment everything would shift. "Together," she repeated, feeling the light flicker within her chest once more. "We choose the light." But as she declared her intent, a fierce shockwave erupted. The shadows screamed, black tendrils spiraling out as they clashed with the burgeoning light. Clara felt her stomach drop. "Farewell, dear Clara," the dark figure sneered, retreating into the depths as the Keeper roared, his rage reverberating through the blinding light. In the chaos, Clara sensed a shift, a promise of power in the turmoil. "What's truly at stake?" The figure's voice echoed like a sinister promise from the shadows. The battle had only begun, and Clara could feel the weight of a choice beyond the darkness. What would happen next when the light and shadows collided once more? With a resounding roar, the shadows surged forward, merging with the Keeper as he lunged for Clara. The air trembled with the weight of impending destruction, but she stood firm, anchored by the presence of the twins at her side. Clara's heart raced, fueled by the fierce call for unity that pulsed through her. "We are stronger together," she declared, the words brimming with a fierce conviction that rang through the chaos. The light surrounding them surged, glowing brighter than ever, illuminating the dark corners that threatened to encroach. As the Keeper snarled, "You'll never escape," Clara stepped forward, a force of nature. The twins mirrored her movement, their energy intertwining with hers, enveloping them in a shield of warmth. The shadows receded, momentarily stunned by the collective strength of their resolve. "You cannot control what you cannot see," Clara shouted, channeling the energy swirling within her. "We face our fears and own our truths." The light burst forth, a wave of brilliance cascading toward the Keeper. His enraged eyes widened in shock. The light engulfed him, overwhelming his darkness. The blinding purity pulsed and throbbed like a living entity, flickering with a vitality that threatened to consume everything in its path. "No!" he bellowed, thrashing as light and shadow collided violently. The twins squeezed Clara's hands tighter, their fingers a warm reminder of what was at stake, the bond they had forged. Closer they moved, the overwhelming brightness seeping through the fabric of their fears, unraveling whispered doubts. Clara could feel the trembling inside the Keeper's darkness. It began to fracture under the intense purity of truth they had ignited together. "Bind your souls with mine," he hissed, desperation leaking from his words. "Together, we are untouchable." But Clara gazed at the twins, her heart echoing their laughter. "No, we are individuals. We are already whole without you." The pulsating light surged again as they chanted an incantation, a melody that flickered through the air like flame, a beautiful harmony of hope. The Keeper shrieked, twisted shadows unraveling all around him. "You think this ends here?" he roared, voice now a cacophony of anguish as the light grew too bright for him to contain. "I will haunt you." Yet, Clara felt the power rising with every word of the chant, healing her wounds, erasing doubt. "Together, we choose love over fear," she cried, as daylight broke through darkness, dividing the Keeper from his monstrous form. In a final explosion, the Keeper was consumed, his silhouette dissipating like smoke in the wind, leaving only silence behind. The air shimmered, and for a moment, it felt as if the whole world held its breath. Clara stood still, awestruck. Then she felt the warmth of the sunlight on her cheeks, the vibrancy of colors reigniting around her. The transformation was monumental. Flowers blossomed beneath her feet, illuminating echoes of the past in radiant hues. The twins beamed at her, their radiance matching the sunlight. "We're free," one twin whispered, tears sparkling in her eyes. "Free from the shadows that held us." Clara felt a flood of emotion, joy intermingled with relief. "What happens to us now?" she asked, the triumph tinged with uncertainty. "Now we begin anew," the second twin replied. "Together, we write our own story." They moved closer, the bond strengthened anew, every shadow of despair washed away by the light, and then, before her eyes, their forms shimmered, shifting into an ethereal glow. They reached out, simply smiling, faces full of hope. Clara felt them lifting her spirit, the darkness that once loomed around them fading into the background. Suddenly, the world around changed again, a fresh landscape unfolded, vibrant with possibilities. Clara smiled, looking around to see the endless horizon stretching before them, bright with promise. Together, she whispered again, knowing that those 3 words held the power to craft their fates. As they strode toward the horizon, arms interlocked, Clara pondered the journey ahead. No longer would she live in the shadows of fear. With every step, she embraced the light of newfound purpose, the strength of unity, love, and the undeniable truth they had forged together, and as they walked under the dawn of a new day, Clara knew they were truly free. Now, dear friends, this is the moment to reflect on this enthralling tale of courage, fear, and the unmatched power of friendship. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that await you. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and make your voice count. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this incredible conclusion. We want to hear what you think. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful ending. Your support means everything, and only the true fans understand the significance of rallying behind the channel. Let us keep this amazing community alive.